Hello, Croeso. Hello, and welcome to the Ospreys Eyrie special. We've finally got some good news to celebrate as Osprey fans. Been a while, but obviously news at the beginning of the pre-planning process for the redevelopment of the historic St Helens rugby and cricket ground, and it follows up for our interview with Lance Bradley. We thought we'd make things a little bit easier for you as fans. You can follow the links as we've done, but we put together a little presentation which hopefully you'll find useful, and we'll summarize the main points. It'll be out on, we're going to show a PowerPoint. Obviously, if you're a radio listener, that's not the best, but if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see it, and we will put a link as well. So hello again, Grant, Jack, and Josh. Thank you for joining me. All good?
All good, yeah.
Okay, we have had a little bit of news, which we'll just talk about around players. So I'll leave you to talk about that. And I'll get the PowerPoint ready.
Yeah, I think it was inevitable, really, the Adam Beard news. Kind of felt like it was a rumour for a long time before it was actually announced. Obviously it's disappointing having seen him come through at the Ospreys, but yeah, at least I think it was good timing that we announced the replacement straight away. Like the same day. I wouldn't be surprised if that's why they probably held off the announcement to make sure they got the Ryan Smith deal over the line at the same time.
Yeah, Beard's been fantastic for us, isn't he? You know, he slogs his guts out when he plays. Gets a bit of criticism from people who don't really understand a lot of his game, but yeah, it's sad seeing him go. And I think the timing of the announcement, I think it might have been crammed in around the stadium news as well. But Ryan Smith looks like a bit of a prospect. So it's a great signing in terms of a replacement anyway.
Okay. So we've put together a presentation which we'll talk to. Obviously, it's really exciting news, and thanks to Lance Bradley and the team, and also those in Swansea Council who want to build on the history of the ground, which is something we can certainly sign up to. But also perhaps an opportunity for us as Ospreys to maybe do some sort of clever thinking around the WRU Ian Cymru One Wales strategy, and to think perhaps about how we can perhaps into our plans incorporate a little bit more use of the Welsh language and our Welsh heritage. I was passing the football ground in Wrexham today, and obviously everybody knows, even if you're not a football fan, that it's been taken over by very prominent American and Canadian owners. But what's been good about their support of the club, it has been that they've embraced the culture of Wales and the language of Wales. It's very prominent, far more prominent than it ever used to be around the stadium. And I think it's an opportunity for us to do something similar with our new ground. We want people who come to the ground feel as if they are in Wales. Not there's anything against, say, Kingsholm in Gloucester or the Stonex Stadium in North London, but know they're in Swansea and know they're in Wales, and know something obviously about the historic ground as well. So, from what I understand, the pre-consultation process has started. This is something that anybody has to do if you want to do a major development. There's a link there on the PowerPoint to the actual company who are leading on this. And I'm sure I've been in many, many meetings with the Ospreys to get to this point. So grateful for everybody who's been involved. Okay, so to summarize, obviously, as we know, we've heard this before, there's going to be an artificial pitch. I think it was 2 weeks ago now that Swansea played their last home game on grass. There's going to be, the pitch itself is going to be actually moved slightly, so it's parallel to the existing northern terrace, and in turn it'll be slightly reorientated. There's going to be 3 new stands and a canopy roof above the northern terrace, and the overall capacity when it's all finished will be up around 8,396. We'll give more details of how that's made up. There's going to be a fan zone with a retractable roof. We also heard that unfortunately the iconic floodlights aren't safe enough to be kept, so there's going to be some replacement floodlights, and some of the pictures we'll show, you can see that. There's going to be access, car park and media compound, and there's going to be some additional fan entrances to what's there at the moment. They're very reassuring, I know, because for many people, there's going to be adequate toilet facilities, there's going to be a new ticket sales office, there'll be a big screen, and very, very importantly, there'll be a wheelchair spectator seats, and obviously adhering to green principles as well. So there we are, the North Terrace. Currently, obviously there, so there's probably going to do a little bit of safety work on it. There's going to be an added canopy roof, and that's going to have a capacity of 3,800. And I suppose it'll been a long time since any Osprey fan could regularly stand on a terrace and watch their team. And I've just used, again, just as an example, just my thinking, there's no reason why this could be called the bank. But that's an exciting prospect, and hopefully that work on that can start pretty soon.
Yeah. Sorry, Nick, jumping back to that, what I really, really like about this design is it looks like the roof stops short, but it doesn't. So the actual pillars supporting the roof aren't right at the front of the stand. So it really helps in terms of viewing angles, potentially. Okay, you can, if you're standing in front of that line of supporting H-beams, okay, you'll have a fantastic view.
Indeed.
And
you can just see a stanchion there for the new floodlights, and obviously the old clubhouse to the right. And I think I read somewhere in the documentation on the far left of the picture, there's going to be a new retaining wall, built. So that's the Northern Terrace. And as we say, it will be hopefully a fantastic place to watch rugby. And I would imagine cheaper season tickets will be available for there than perhaps other parts of the ground. And certainly perhaps cheaper to stand there if you're just coming to the odd game. Okay, the Western Stand. Josh, do you want to say something about the Western Stand?
Yeah, I mean, as an ex-Swansea student who took full use of the sin bin when it was in operation at the Swansea.com was the Liberty when I was a student. Yeah, I think it's a fantastic idea. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very envious of any Swansea University students who are going to be around when this development goes on. I think it's a great way to get students involved. I think the only issue with the sin bin when it was at the Swansea.com is it was probably a 45-minute to 1 hour walk, probably. And if not, you had to get the bus to the stadium. And it did kind of, I think, detract students from wanting to go because it was a bit more out the way. Yeah. The location of this is literally in and around where all the students are living. So I think it's a massively undervalued thing of how much more sellable this will be to students now. There's loads of really good pubs around the area as well. So yeah, I think it's a brilliant opportunity to attract loads of students when they come to the university. Yeah, I remember when I was at uni, I always tried to convince my mates to come down to the Ospreys and make the most of the sin bin, but they were probably casual rugby fans, and they'd be more likely to go watch the university play at St Helens than they were to go to the Swansea.com, just simply because of distance. You'd get there wouldn't be as much atmosphere because, let's be honest, we couldn't necessarily sell out the Swansea.com. So I think a great way of getting students involved, keeping them all together, potentially in one place in the stadium, and really building an atmosphere. So I think it's really exciting.
Sorry to put you on the spot. Do you feel too old to go there now, Josh?
Never.
Good on you. And from my understanding, again, that is the actual existing South Stand that's actually currently located on Mumbles Road. It's going to be dismantled and moved to the, if you like, the university end of the ground. Okay, the South Stand.
Did you just jump past the East?
Oh, sorry. Apologies.
So we have the East Stand or the Family Stand again. It would be nice maybe to think of a Welsh name or something along those terms for the Family Stand. 16,038 people can sit there. I think again it's looking good that the it's right behind the posts there, backing, and behind that then is going to be like a fan zone, I believe. and then eventually at some point there'll be like a training barn. I think is the idea. And in general, yeah, again, I think it's good. It's covered. Just good to see. I do wonder about those pillars a bit. Is it going to be obstructing people's views if they sit at the back? The only stadium I've been to that has pillars is actually the PSV stadium, so the Eindhoven stadium, and that I was positioned right behind a pillar, which meant I couldn't see half the box, which wasn't fantastic. So I wonder, hopefully that's not too obstructive for the fans. But I think that in general, if you look at it, if you can get a lot of families in there and fill it up, kids running around and so on, it could be quite a nice kind of experience. And what I have noticed is in the complete opposite side of the stadium to the sin bin, I believe. So that's pretty good plan as well.
There's some logic in that, I think.
So yeah, I think someone's thought it through. So yeah, I think particularly with the fans on at the back and the clubhouse to the side, I think it's quite a nice kind of position for it, to be honest, and see there's a lot of entertainment for the kids and so on. So yeah, brilliant.
And my understanding from the meeting that Lance had with the supporters, probably 6 weeks ago now, that stand has actually already been purchased. So it's a waiting movement. I don't know where it's coming from. So that 1,638 capacity stand is sitting somewhere ready to come to the ground.
Yeah, when you look at the planning permission as well, the clubhouse is sitting just in the corner there, isn't it, between the terrace and the east stand. It notes that it's included in the planning permission just because it's on the land, but there's no plans to develop in that clubhouse, in the old clubhouse.
No, true. Okay, and on to the south stand.
That would be my view from the terrace opposite. You look at the main view there, it looks fairly imposing, but it is a reasonably narrow stand with potential space to expand on the left-hand side as we're looking at it from there. It's when you look at the details we've got following up, okay, there's capacity for nearly 2,000 people there, and there's a significant space inside the first and second floors for hospitality. So the ground floor is entirely dedicated to refs changing rooms, home and away changing rooms, media rooms, etc., and reception areas. But the actual facility looks fairly well. Just that one stand in itself looks fairly spectacular, especially with the semi-detached roof design as well. It looks great from that side. I'm sure it looked fairly good as well when you see the other views.
Yeah, I'm sorry to be a snob. I'm going to say it's a snob. I'll probably have my season ticket there, Grant. I'll wave across to you.
That's fine for those who can afford to sit in the posh stand. That's absolutely fine.
No, Grant, it's because I'm too old. It's not because
I'll see how long I survive in the terrace. It might not be too much.
Yeah. You'll be looking for an upgrade after week 3.
Yeah, I won't, but I can last a full season anyway. So again, that's the view from Mumbles Road, and you can see the entire first and second floors are glass fronted. So in terms of the ability to host functions there outside the match day as well, what a fantastic facility that we're going to have there. And it's the Ospreys for the first time. It's not lodging in Swansea City's ground, is it? So
it's going to be great to try and sell that, isn't it, for functions?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. And just to reiterate what Grant was saying, that's the sort of breakdown of what's below the seats.
Yeah, if you zoom in any detail and start looking at it, you can see the home changing room and the away changing room are roughly the same size, but the away changing room includes all the showering facilities in the same area. So yeah, it's good to see that we are being slightly annoying in terms of not making people feel too much at home when they come down to us anyway.
Yeah, and then there's that tunnel club that has been mentioned for those who've have genuinely got a lot of money.
Yeah,
but if they want to spend the money and give it to the Ospreys, I've got no problem with it.
No, me.
And that's just the hospitality again.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, you look at the ground. Okay, the red dotted line on the screen there. Oh, sorry for those who are listening just to the podcast. In terms of the existing wall across the front of the ground, it's showing how much the stand is effectively turning in terms of gone from parallel to the road to parallel with the pitch now and swinging through 30 degrees. But it's a fairly imposing looking stand and modern looking stand as well from the outside, from outside the ground.
Yeah, and in fairness to, obviously the theatre there, where there was the Indian restaurant, it used to be like one the last time I was there.
Yeah.
But it's enhancing that part of Swansea, isn't it? And also you can see the new floodlights quite clearly there, what they'll look like if you look back towards the pitch.
Yeah. So that's showing a quick view in terms of phase one fan zone. It's not actually marked on there, but the retractable roof area is basically on the lower side of the fan zone area. And the blue areas you can see on there showing the toilet blocks. So phase two, which is to follow, is where the training barn should be going with 3,750 square meters there. So significant training spaces as well as some training rooms, physio rooms, and various other sort of medical facilities within that barn area. So it's going to be fairly impressive if and when we get that far in terms of phase two. So I had to dig through all of the paperwork available via the web link that Nick dug up for us, and started looking at what might be important to the normal supporter who turns up for games. So a travel plan will be prepared that will outline a package of measures basically to maximise use of sustainable transport, because Lance keeps saying he doesn't necessarily want everyone driving to the game. He wants people to be able to get to the game, enjoy themselves, okay, maybe have a couple of beers, have a few refreshments before going home. They're trying to follow government guidance in terms of number of parking spaces per number of seats in the stadium. They're looking at the car parks which are already existing in the area and saying there's 638 off-street parking spaces. So that's not there's not a lot of space to park on the roads if anyone's tried going down there as well. And they try to stay in line with the government policy of using sustainable transport. So walking and cycling top of the list, followed by public transport, which is really good to see, followed by ultra low emission vehicles, so electric cars, and there'll be some charging points in the car parks, and then followed by other private motor vehicles as the lowest option. The little picture on the right hand side shows the estimates of people within a certain area, within 2 miles, they think there's a good chance they could walk to the ground. That's shown in the purple area. And the area expands out then to like a 5 miles of, it's not a straight line because it's looking where actual people are living rather than including fields in there, right? So it's looking at people's routes looking at like a 5 mile area. So, maybe a 20 minutes of cycle ride into the ground as well. So it's really good to see that they're looking at access and they're looking at doing it properly. But the really important bit for me is they're acknowledging the existing routes in terms of public transport. They're also acknowledging the fact that they're not necessarily running late at night, which is why they're talking about this travel plan to make sure there's things like parks and rides and various other sort of options. It was really good from my point of view.
No, definitely.
And again, when you listen to some of the Q&A sessions that Lance has hosted, people have asked about wheelchair access and wheelchair seating. I've had a rummage through the documentation, and you've got, unfortunately for me, there's so much documentation. I found something once and I couldn't find it again. There's probably about 30, 40, maybe 50 attached documents, and I'm sure in there it references 21 or 23 wheelchair spectator positions. Now, when I zoomed in on the map, I can find there's 6 spaces over on the Terrace side at the Mumbles end, and there's another 10 spaces in a specific extra small ramp area, again at the west end, but this time adjacent to the south stand. So there's some spaces everywhere else, and I couldn't find them whilst browsing around the map. So maybe there's lift access into the main stand. I don't know, but I couldn't find them just with a very quick browse around earlier. In terms of disabled parking, there's some parking within the ground facilities, but whether these are going to be available to the general public or maybe with pre-booking, or if it's just there, maybe if some of the sponsors are already taking up disabled spots, then there's more questions to be asked, and there's a bit more to find out around in terms of what facilities have we really got in terms of being catering for everybody.
Yeah, and I guess that's the sort of very, very important. But when you go to an older stadium, which it is, where as opposed to the .com, it is more difficult to find for those sorts of facilities, isn't it? But I'm sure there are ways and means around it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just talk a little bit. Obviously, took me back to my working days, actually, rummaging through documents on finances of Swansea Council. Obviously, every council has to produce a budget which has to go to full council, and within that document, amongst all the money that a council is spending, it talks very much about what the sort of capital programme is, and this is what it says in regards to what the council are planning to do, and we have to applaud the council really for getting behind this project. I don't think it would probably be happening without that support. So they have allocated in the financial year that's just gone £1 million, and then a 4.1 million is then being allocated for this forthcoming financial year, which we're already in, of course. Now, my understanding that will be a loan to the club, to the Ospreys, so there will be terms and conditions around that repayment, and obviously we hope, I don't imagine Y11 are probably acting as guarantors to that, but that's my understanding of how this is going to be financed.
That's really good news, especially the bit about the fact the council expect to be getting their money back as well. So yeah, we're not going to be council owned effectively then.
No. And that's it really. It's been good to have some good news. We thought hopefully people feel it's something they can look at, and obviously we'll put the links to the PowerPoint. It just hopefully saves people some time. Obviously the details is all there. That's all we've done is gone through the council documents, gone through the company who's produced the presentation and produced the pre-planning consultation. Obviously, in time, it will need to go to the planning committee of Swansea Council for them to approve that. But given the council are heavily involved, that there are, I'm sure, hoops to get over. But one would hope that their involvement will help smooth that route. And I think we'll all be happy, really, when we actually see something, when we're passing St Helens, something actually going on there, whether it's in the existing clubhouse or moving the demountable stand down or whatever, just to see some work going on there, we'll further seek to reassure. And hopefully, if we've this far advanced in the sort of design, the club can start then contacting people, put stuff out on the website, so that if you're considering getting a season ticket, that you'll have some sort of idea of the sort of view you'll get when you purchase a season ticket, because I think that was always the plan. And obviously in normal times that would, people, if you were looking to buy, if we were staying at the Swansea.com next year, that's exactly what probably would have happened already by now, Grant.
Yeah before the end of the season, we'd have season tickets out soon. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for listening, and hopefully the podcast will be back next week celebrating a win. So anyway, good night, everybody. Thank you very much. Diolch yn fawr.
Cheers.